And then you've got to approve it. So, okay. Right, okay. So, lovely to see everyone in real life.
Yeah, she's
and
real. It's real.
I know, it's lovely. So yeah, it's happy Saturday to you all, guys. Thank you for taking time out to all meet up. It's just to have a little check-in and see how everyone's doing, and to say, because there's a lot of people like, oh, I don't know if I'm not going as far ahead as I thought I was, you know, because it was like, oh, you know, but at the end of the day, it's giving you time to marinate with it. I'll put it on mute just now. No, I won't put it on mute. You just, that'll be fine, because I want you to be able to interact and ask questions. Stella, she's what I didn't introduce to Stella there. So really, you kind of, I would say a lot of you are in the same boat, the same, you know, kind of. There's some that are just about there, with getting there. But if you're not, that's okay too, because you started in January, and you've got a year. So, and I don't think normal will tell you as well, because you've been on your journey, and it's not a big rush. It's like, you know yourself, don't you? That it's kind of like.
I keep getting, like you say, it is a big journey, and I keep just saying, you keep doing bits, and then like you reevaluate your life again. You know, you think you've got to a point, and then something else comes up, and it's like, I feel like it's the way you then approach it. It's like more of a learning thing. So every time I start to do something, I think I'm ready to apply, you know, write it down, and then it's like a different look on things. Because I know I have well, I've just finished reading an anatomy book again, and was like online again yesterday, like doing all the videos. But I know I haven't put anything down yet for that example.
I think it's like reading the Bhagavad Gita. You know, if you've started reading that book, it's the Stephanie Rott book, and I've had oh, it was Isabel, we were speaking about that, weren't we? How it can be like, oh my goodness, that, you know, it can be quite dry, and it's quite almost religious, because she's a reverend, and you can go, especially if, you know, I was brought up with atheists, so, you know, and so it's like, oh my goodness, this is a bit, but actually, what it is, it's in 3 parts. The karma part, you go, oh, this is really good. Then it gets into bhakti, and you would think bhakti, because it means devotion. Bhakti would be, that would be a really nice one. It's really heavy, so it's almost like you're all like, but it's a little bit like you have to get through that bhakti bit to get to the jnana, the wisdom part, because that's when the light bulb moments start happening. So bear with it. I was actually, it was that with Isabel, I was saying it's I kind of made a reference to, it's a bit like being at a rave. And you know, this is me, my youth days, and the music's like, oh, really intense. And then it drops, and then the music just goes lighter, and everyone goes, whoa, the relief in it. It's a bit like reading the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah. You know, that sort of way, it's like, oh, get that intense, and then, oh, yeah. So bear with it if you haven't read it. And this is more about applying to your life. So, you know, the sutras are like how to, you know, how to systematically get there, in that sense, reach samadhi, to get at still the fluctuations of the mind stuff. But the Bhagavad Gita is almost like a handbook of life, how to apply the philosophy to your own life. And I think as a yoga teacher, I think that's really important. You know, I think there's a lot of yoga schools out there that just teach you how to pull the crazy moves, or do a great sequence, and that, you know, there's a lot to be said with how to do that. And oh yeah, I still need to I'm going to post the asana chart in again, because Isabel had asked about that, so I'll put that into your group just in case it's kind of got lost there. But I think it's really important, if you're going to be teaching others, to be able to hold your own space, you know. So, and by holding your own space, it's meditation's important, not just, you know, being flexible in your body, you know. So being able to not react, not take things personally, because a lot of people come to yoga and not just because they've got physical stuff going on for them. You know, it can be because they're coming from emotional trauma, or they're coming from another way, and maybe they don't realize, you know, it might be a chronic pain, chronic illness, and they don't realize that some of that chronic pain and chronic illness is stemming from emotional trauma. So sometimes they don't realize that the way that they're behaving, they can project a little bit. So you'll come across sometimes a student that's being like, and learning to not take that personally, in a sense that it's very much that it's not about you. They've got that it's holding their space, in a sense that if they want to do the work, they will. If they don't, that's okay too, you know. But knowing that you're not going to be pulled into their storm. And I've seen so many times there's some yoga teacher trainers out there that are training people, and things come up for you'll know this. You guys all have been through this, and you're probably going through it. The veil of illusion, Maya, is lifted, and you start to see your life in a way that you never did before. And it can be quite unsettling, you know. And I've seen some for yoga teacher trainers, and they go, oh, and it gets all like entangled, but it's very much, stuff comes up, but it's like processing. So by applying the yogic scriptures during these times, that's when the magic happens, in a sense, you know. So it's quite important. So like reading that, you find that when you first start reading them, you'll go back after you've done the course, and you'll really enjoy it a lot better, because you're like, that's what it is. A really great book, because I know that you guys are reading loads and I've given you loads of stuff, but if you have time, you know, if you're really interested in the Ayurveda and the gunas and how it all intermingles, so it's on the reading list for the yoga and Ayurveda, but I think it's a great almost like a handbook yet again, that you can actually figure out how it all goes in together. It's called Yoga and Ayurveda. It's by Dr. David Frawley, Frawley. And yeah, it's a book that I've read so many times because you keep going back to it. But he makes it quite systematic, and you can really kind of understand the doshas and the gunas and all these different aspects of yoga. He puts it into how it all merges in together. So it's a really handy one as well. And using for you guys from doing your teaching your classes, the asana chart, you know, the one where you've got all the different types of asana, and then which one balances that, which the gunas, or which one's good for each chakra. And then, you know, because it's almost like, I know that you guys have all been doing your online reviews and every Sunday, and I really appreciate that. And, you know, it shows how dedicated you all are. And so you'll know yourself, you're learning so much by doing these online reviews, because instead of mindlessly just going, I've done a class, I feel good now. You're going there and going, what can I pick up for that? What worked and what didn't work? And you'll have seen now that a class that you maybe would have gone to in the past and come away, and your body knows it's done something, but it's a little bit, the energy's confused.
I noticed that from doing like the class at first degree, like I was always going to like the same teacher or like the same sort of classes. Doing the online reviews, you really do pick up on, you know, like the teacher's energy, because you are just picking like random ones. And some class I've done, that was horrific. You just feel like it's kind of like it's a learning curve, in the sense that sometimes you can go, wait a minute, there would have been a time before you did that, thinking that was a good class, it had all these different things, and I was doing this with my arms and doing this, and you realize, you know, as I've said before, you know, if you got all the colors of the rainbow and put them together, it makes the color brown. So you don't want, let's try and get as many asanas in there to make it like as if you're doing advanced stuff. But it's not.
it's think about what the bath, the feeling. What do you want to do? It could be physically. It could be something to do with, let's do something for back pain. Or you could do, Mercury's in retrograde, everything's crazy. Yeah, let's do something for the 5th chakra about asserting yourself, speaking your truth. You know, or you could work with the values. The values are, yeah, I that's part of my practice. Really, it's quite powerful. So if you set the bath, then you think, right, okay, what pranayama works with that? What asana works with that? And then how you would structure the class, because how would you warm up to your apex pose? And your apex pose, as I've said before, doesn't necessarily have to be the wildest beast of the land. It doesn't have to be the most, you know, big pose where you're like a hugest back bend or something. It might be the one that really works the energetics of what you're trying to create. And then you need some sort of like wind down. You know, you'll have seen, and I used to, because I was taught, you know, I was trained in vinyasa flow, like, God, 2006. So that's what I was trained in, and you'll sort of notice a lot of vinyasa flow classes. The end of the class, they'll pop in a shoulder stand, you know, or you go to an Ashtanga class, and you know you've got, you know, it's just different. They do, you know, so because we're practicing vinyasa krama, basically the headstand, and the only inversions in that is headstand and shoulder stand. There's only but you'll have gone to other classes where they'll go, let's do an inversion, and that involves Pinchu Mayurasana, you know, peacock's feather pose. But that's actually a back bend, really. So we're doing it as where the spine is, in the sense that that's how we apply it. So the only inversions in vinyasa krama are headstand and shoulder stand, and to balance out a headstand, you would do a shoulder stand. So it would be headstand first if you're going to, followed by a shoulder stand. You need to warm up first, but also it wouldn't be the last of your thing, because you need to cool down, because they're both the most complex poses there is, you know. So it's just that people assume that you just pop in that at the end of the class, and you also see in Ashtanga you have the shoulder stand before the headstand. Yeah, so that's the only exception that you would have that. So to balance out a headstand, you would do a shoulder stand, and a good way of balancing out shoulder stand is Shalabhasana, you know, or you could have the fish pose, dependent on neck issues. So if you're going to teach the fish pose, really remind them of contraindications of neck issues. Okay, so as much as it's a really great one for you, it's not so great if you're I don't practice it much because I broke my neck at C6. So Shalabhasana is a safer one for me, but so it's safer for everyone, really. You know, you want to keep people safe, not just pull a great move. So yeah, so you're figuring out where you want to take them and how you do it. You know, and another thing is your students, you know, everyone assumes that you teach yoga, you want to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Oh, this is what it is. Get everyone to, you know, and that is brilliant if people are anxious. You know, you want to bring them down, you want to still them. If somebody's depressed, they're very tamasic. By stimulating their parasympathetic nervous system and getting them to be, they're going to lose even more that urge to the drive to do stuff. So you need to almost stimulate their sympathetic nervous system. So if somebody's feeling like just done in, and you know, we've all been there during these lockdown times. I mean, you get people who are depressed and anxious at the same time. So how do you work that as well? But looking at the pranayama of that sort of technique, so where do you want to take them? You know, what type of energy is there? What time of year it is? What time of day as well? So to lift people, you know, obviously it's the inhale, and breathing into the chest is really going to bring them up. So for anyone and that's for also when they're feeling lethargic, depressed, like, it's a horrible day, or, they could be in the morning as well, you want to bring them up. So back bends, lateral stretches are really good for seeing the world from a different perspective, and so working with Vyana Vayu, that's the inversions, because that's going to give you enthusiasm for life as well. But when people are feeling really anxious, and you work with Apana Vayu, like bringing them down, grounding them. So Muladhara chakras type stuff. You would be working on the exhale. So it's the same if we go back to the inhale sort of situation. Pauses after the inhale, kumbhaka, holds after the inhale, and extending the inhale to lift the sympathetic nervous system. But you wouldn't do that to new students. You get them used to their breath first and you've got to be practicing kumbhaka before you teach it. It's because it's really powerful. So yeah, to bring them down, you would work with the exhale. You'd work with the exhale, so the hold after the exhale or longer exhales. So that's pretty. You can start off inhale for 4, exhale for 4, get them used to that, and then move into. And we've done this before in our asana practice, where you start off like that, and then you eventually move into inhale for 4, exhale for 6, and do that a couple of times. And then as you're progressing in your practice, you can do inhale for 4, exhale for 6, hold for 2. And that's really going to get that. But it's more complex. But you don't need to bring in that complexity. That's kind of when you're going along, you're really confident with your teaching. So I think for you guys, you're not teaching yet. Don't get all too overwhelmed about it. This is just knowing the general, get the foundations right before you can fly or grow. So this is more for your personal practice. Don't teach anything that you're not comfortable in your personal practice, okay? Because it will come across. So make sure you're comfortable in your own practice before you teach it. And you'll have noticed when you've been in classes where you can maybe tell that as a teacher, they don't have a personal practice. It's not, there's just a bit of a lack of connection there, and so being in your own body, like making sure sometimes if you're going to teach something, how does it feel in your body first? Yeah.
That's what I always find I get myself in kind of state, because what I'm learning, from your class, and the things I'm looking into myself and the reading I'm doing, it's things that I'm really enjoying just now. And I was getting caught up thinking, this is what I'm going to teach, but I've had to take it right back. When I found it out of my head, I went back and I thought, I'm going to have to teach the alignment. So when I'm doing my little classes at home, it's the alignment I'm really focusing on in my class, because like you say, that's what I know personally, that's what I'm working on. And the energetics is more my personal practice. Yeah.
So you thinking about bringing in pelvic stability and something like that. So that's the thing.
Alignment, and then taking the movement to where you are, but holding the line as opposed to getting that. That's what because like I say, I'm always this is what I'm doing, and I get myself all worked up. So I brought it right back in. This is my focus. It's the alignment, the stability. Yeah. And I'm finding it easier to articulate it better like that. It was kind of you watch all these things and you're reading all these things. It's almost I felt like I was being forced to do something I wasn't. But when I took it back, it's right, this is what I know what I'm talking about now. And I find it. I found it easier. Just the past couple of weeks, but it's just been getting my confidence up doing it. You've stepped out of your own way, and that's what it's about, isn't it? And that's it. And I think this is the thing. I had a group where
a lot of them were coming from like past trauma, but so that's how they found yoga. We all found yoga in different ways, you know, and we all come from yoga from different ways. So my thing is like really very much sharing what yoga is to you. How does it make you feel, and how do you share that, as opposed to, you know, getting on your Lululemon stuff and giving it, you know. So it's really about sharing your stuff. So the challenges that you have experienced in life, turning it around and saying, wow, that is an opportunity. That is my opportunity to evolve. And it's also, how did I manage that in a way that you can hold space of others and, you know, to understand others and have that more empathy, you know, in the sense that some of these guys have gone on to teach, you know, like almost like yoga for mental health stuff, because that's where they were coming from. So it's like, what is yoga to you, and how can you share that? You know, so once you get the foundations of the asana and how you would teach, you know, what does what, energetically, physically, spiritually, anything that, and that's why I get you to do that with your online reviews, to really get a handle on, oh, I've never thought of it that way, you know. And I can see like the way you're doing it, it's like it's become more natural.
Yeah, from the start, if you look back at the reviews from January to now, there's a big difference.
Definitely. So yeah, so has anyone got any questions, you know, about the course or about your practice, or, you know, is there anything that you've like, God, I wish I'd asked Louisa that, because this is like a great opportunity, because sometimes some of the questions that come up for you, everyone else is thinking, but they don't like to say, you know.
Louisa, sorry.
Hello.
I'd just like to say it's really interesting to hear you talk about the Bhagavad Gita, because, and the other book, which the name's gone now, I've found them both really, really hard to read, and it took a lot of concentration and rereading, and I actually found by the time I came to the end to actually not try too hard, just read it, and it just kind of fell into place, went on. But yeah, and you know, I learned so much from the books, but yeah, if anyone else is struggling with them, you're not alone. They are really difficult to read, or they were for me.
You'll go back and you will enjoy them once it's like one of these things. I remember doing my 200 hours being told to read, and this is, you've been told to read the sutras. And this is before, you know, it was the first time I'd ever like really properly experienced yogic philosophy. But there was no guidance, and like, oh, it was so dry. It was like almost like you were forcing yourself to read something that didn't really mean anything. So when it's like, what is the actual point? So it's almost like once you're a teacher, go back to them and you'll go, oh my God, I love this, because you understand it. Yes. As I said, you know, you can't learn how to swim by reading a swimming manual, and this is the same thing, isn't it? So it's like once you're like, oh, okay, you can feel it. You come out of your head and into your heart, and that's the thing. It is one of these things, stepping out your own way, isn't it, Jill? Where you're going, okay, I'm not going to be too attached to, oh my God, I don't understand this. Just go with it, because subliminally things will just be going in a little bit, but you don't have to worry too much. You know, it doesn't make you a naughty yogi. You know?
That's what I was. You know, you think it's not good, and like I read all the material again this time, and I want to look at it with fresh eyes, because I wasn't a walk before, and I don't ever think of it as the converted information, but when I'm speaking to people are actually like saying things to me like, oh, you know, like just with what you're able to say, like, and you know, almost teach them, like, you know, just in general conversation, not like being in that sort of teaching atmosphere.
So yeah,
Yes. So I was going to say there was a lot of light bulb moments from it as well. You know, suddenly you think, my God, yeah, that's just put into words the way I've always felt, and yeah, it made me feel really good and a lot more confident in myself and the way I feel about things after having read it. But yeah, and I also found as I was reading it, kind of kept taking my mind off into situations that I could relate to with what they were trying to explain. And I think that's another reason it was hard to stay concentrated on the text all the time, because my mind was constantly searching for similar experiences and things like that. But yeah, it was good.
Definitely, and near the end of the Bhagavad Gita, you see that one of the kind of the takeaways of it is everything's paradoxical. Everything is a paradox. You're like, there's you're like, what? That's that, but that's also this. And that's that, and then you realize that's life. So instead of trying to make sense of it, just being okay with where that is too. There's a paradox. Everything is like, wow, okay then. So yeah, it's like it's going to be okay no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's like learning to sit in that eye storm. And this is where you guys know when I teach, I say, right, breathe acceptance into where you are in your body, but also in your life. It's like, yeah, because that's all you have right in this moment. So
yeah.
So
I'm also very close to doing my 20-minute practice now. My problem at the moment is finding the time to concentrate to do it. I've just got so much else going on, and I'm trying to be kind to myself and not get annoyed about it, even though I know I'm ready to do it. So yeah, I will be there soon with that, I hope.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah, I need to, I've been really busy, with I'm doing a lot of rebranding right now. So this is going to be a great thing for you guys, for when you're teachers, because basically what's happening is there's so much out there nowadays. There's so much online stuff that social media have changed all the algorithms. People have got all these different things with websites where you need to be able to be found online. So I've not been bringing in much work, or as opposed to, so I'm like, well, either panic or I do something about it. So I've got Kaya in to help me with admin, so I can try and be more aligned and give you guys my more attention, in the sense that I was like just drowning in crap, like all the teachings from last year. People are now going, oh, here's my assessment, can you mark this, can you mark that? I'm like, oh, so I can't get on with that. So basically I've got someone that's rebranding, sorting out my website, but we're going to be doing and this is the whole thing with LKY Yoga School. It's not like I don't want to churn out generic yoga teachers. Here you go, and there's your certificate. Bye. Now, and if you want to do it, get your certificate and go away. It's up to you. I'm not going to force you to hang around with me. You know what I mean? But it's for you to know there's always aftercare, and you're still part of a group and still part of the tribe in a sense. So to give back for my people that have gone on from after their 200 hours to do their 300 hours, where they do that 100 hours advanced, which is more the tantric hatha, taking it further and working with the values. It's more like advancing your personal practice as opposed to how to teach. There'll be more like how to teach specific things, and then choosing your 5 40-hour things you can specialize. So, but these guys, I don't want to turn them out and go by either. So we've had a meeting that they're going to be part of their thing is they're now going to start, because they're specializing and having USPs with that, they're going to start holding workshops on behalf of LKY. So we do the marketing for them and take all the bookings and everything, and it goes through the website, and so it's for them to know that they're held, because they're my advanced teachers. But then you guys, once you've got classes up and running, I've sort of said to, you've probably seen in some of the Facebook groups, that I'm creating, my web developer is creating a page for my graduates. So with anyone who wants to be part of that has an Instagram or Facebook, because this is something for you guys to think about for once you're teaching, getting your Instagram or your Facebook, your presence made, sorting that out. So it would be you give me your photograph, your details of what you teach, of what your style is, and a link, so it just links directly. So hopefully they'll be getting more hits through to the website, but they'll also see my graduates, so you guys get more students in as well. It's important. I want to support that. So I think that this is the thing, it's like starting to think about that kind of the business side of things as well. So I've got something that I need to put into your group actually to do with like the business of yoga as well, because it is. I'm currently in the process of setting up a mentorship for yoga teachers. So not just how to teach yoga, how to like do the kind of all the marketing side of things, and how to, how to manage your students, how to work with the social media aspect, and the algorithms, which I think nowadays, as much as you go, oh my god, that's not yoga, well, but you don't want to be just going, it's all right, they'll find me. I used to be like that, oh yeah, it's all right. I don't want to be pushy. It's not about being pushy, it's about being a modern day yoga teacher,
Could you get, sorry, this is nothing to do with your record, but Angela, you can get her to do a financial for yoga, like how to do accounts.
She's going to do that. So one of my thanks Kaya. We've got one of my 500 hours graduates is going to do a workshop on tax for like finances. She's a tax specialist and an accountant. She does my accounts. I've asked her to do accounts for like doing your books, so your tax returns that have to be handed in every year. So, and that's something that as yoga teachers, most of us are like, what the hell? I'm still like that. My ex-husband was my accountant, and because that's what he specialized in, and it was just like he'd get so annoyed with me, didn't he? That I used to hand in all my little scraps of paper. Oh, sorry. And as yogis, most of us tend to be a little bit crap with that, don't they? So that's something that we're in the process of doing. Angela's setting up a tax for yoga teachers, which I think is going to be really helpful. And they're also, we're kind of going along the lines of, I'm still doing Yoga Alliance accredited courses, but my advanced guys are going to be doing, it'll be certified just from the yoga school, but not Yoga Alliance in the sense that some of them will be, somebody's doing one for herbalism, which is really, and that actually really ties in with Ayurveda and astrology. Everything's all interlinked. And the same with one of my graduates is going to do a crystal healing one as well. So you can't really be Yoga Alliance accredited in that. But I think it's like some people just want to learn, and it's for the experience so they can apply some of these things. Another one is creating chair yoga for the elderly, because there's a lot of old people out there, isn't there? But yeah, heaps of us. I'm one of them. But yeah, I think it's really, that's going to be quite a good one to do. So it's like, so get your ideas, start thinking about what's your USP. Do you want to take this further? You don't have to, but you have that option if you want to, keep on with your studies too. You're held. So it's all about like, oh my God, it's coming near, it's coming to the end. It's not really come to the end, you've got until January, but that kind of like looming thing. So I've got some of my guys, it's coming up, July is their end point. So it's pretty soon for them. They're like, oh my God. And it's like, no, actually, it's not like you'll get your certificate and then I'll go, bye, see you. You go out to the scary wide world on your own. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm still going to be holding your space. And if you guys all know that if you need, I'm there for setting up video calls and and to really help you in your personal practice as well as your teachings as well. So just knowing that, I think. So has anyone else got any questions or anything they want to share? Isabel, yeah.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to share how I feel. I've shared about it with you the other day, but I'm wondering if anybody else feels a bit like me. That there are times that I feel very lost in the course, in the sense that I feel my progress. I'm on this journey, and I felt like during a while, maybe I wasn't going anywhere special, but then I sort of went up a few stairs, and you know, like learning is not linear, and I feel that you, I'm on a different level now that I was in January, you know, energetically, physically, in terms of understanding the philosophy, which I'm just totally passionate about. But I there are moments, and that maybe it's a question of personality, because I'm so insecure into, well, where am I in the course? You know, I'm like, have I learned half of it, or you know, can I do the video, or where do I stand in terms of, you know, am I good enough, sort of question. So I mean, does anybody feel like this at times? Because it's I find it very hard, because it's not a presential course.
It's
I
imposter
find it
syndrome.
hard to
too.
know,
We
okay,
all
well,
have
I've
imposter
learned this,
syndrome.
or I need to know more about this, or I need to know more about that, or I still have just, and yeah, there are times that I lose my confidence.
Yeah, I feel a bit like that, and I think that's just who I am as a person. I'm always like,
Same here, yeah.
I need to learn everything. I need to know all. And you see other people doing things and you're like, oh, should I be doing that? Or should I be like that? Or is that, I don't know if that relates to me. And then I get lost along that. And then that's when my anxiety gets up. But I think, like, especially after my chat with you, Louise, I've been a lot kinder to myself of like, okay, work's really intense. It's really busy. I really need to work on holding my own space, my own energy, so that I have enough at work, because it can be a bit of a heavy energy and everything there at the moment. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm progressing, and I don't know if I'm changing and all that. I actually had an experience, like someone within the kind of family group, and he was like, he was obviously having things about getting older and other things going on, and so it's my 30th in January. So he's like, oh, Christy, you're turning 30, and trying to like make fun of me a bit about getting old and that. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. And he was saying about other things in life, like things that I think a few months ago I'd been really insecure about or not sure, but I was kind of going, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. And I think because I stayed in that, no, I'm totally fine about that, or I'm excited about this, or this will be good. He then kept projecting. So then I did have a moment of going, should I be feeling like that? Is that what everyone's thinking of me? Or is this? But then I thought, no, this is who I am. This is who I'm comfortable in. And I was actually had a moment of being really proud of myself. Like, that's a lot of progression. I might not be where I want to be with all the lectures and all the reading, but in terms of where I am in myself and holding my own space and getting to a point where I'm feeling like I am good enough and I am that, and then realizing he's just projecting his insecurities onto me and trying to make me believe that everyone's thinking this. But it also reminded me, and it actually made me feel like quite relieved, the people that are closest to me, because it's been with lockdown and everything, you've got a small bubble. And I was like, oh, it's been a while since I've had this. So it's kind of reminded me, like, my wee tribe, who's really close to me, they are really good for me. They are in a good space, and they're all the kind, we are all for each other, like cheering on each other and always like when things are good and supporting each other when things are bad. So it was quite, although it wasn't a nice experience at the time, and I was a bit, have I done something? I was quite pleased, because I thought, oh no, I'm learning and I'm progressing and I've got a good tribe around me, and you know, the energy is good. So I feel like that was quite a big progression. That's a big learning curve for me.
That's you applying equanimity, you know. So you know, you've got that in your manual, the equanimity, you know, and it's not, that's what yoga is, just really applying the teachings to your life and realizing, wait a minute, and it's helping you to make wiser choices. And so you're learning to step out your own way, but not to the extent that's not dissociation. It's about going, is this about me?
Yeah.
Or is it's not about me at all? And so let them do that. It's up to them. People can only meet you where they're at.
And I think I would have normally like gone over and over and over and over that in my head and wondered if he was right or whatever, or I'd have sat there and thought, I have to make sure everyone's peaceful and at peace and everything with it. And because he kept going and he didn't stop, I just got up and left. And we were sitting out in the garden, and I got up and left and went inside. And they kind of made the odd comment like, and obviously other people did feel a bit uncomfortable. I was like, nope, I'm removing myself from the situation. He's taken it too far. I've gone inside.
Excellent. Yeah. So you didn't allow the storm to take you. You were practicing skill in action. There you go.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, and then you'll find that's like what, and so as Isabel said as well, we all, like I'm, you know, teacher, trainer, I've been doing this, I get imposter syndrome. I go, oh my goodness, who am I to be like, you know, am I good enough, you know, and we all have it. So it's not like people that just before there's yoga teachers get it, teacher trainers get it, we all suffer from imposter syndrome. We all do. And, you know, sometimes, so I was part of a group recently, you know, so I've been part of a coaching group, and you just don't really get the business stuff because I'm rubbish with stuff. I needed some sort of mentorship, not on a spirit, I've got my spiritual teachers, but I was really aligned spiritually, but not so much like in a business. And that, I mean, there's nothing, and there's nothing wrong or unspiritual about that. It's the, you know, it's in the tantric way, it's artha, you know, that's how you need to be able to pay your mortgage and stuff like that. And it being part of that group, I'm thinking, well, I'm like, who am I to do this? I was a bit like, well, I'm a bit rubbish, you know, well, I thought it, they all seem to know what they're doing. So it's the same thing. You guys are part of a group online, not all met each other, and I'm like, well, then I'm thinking, oh, if I speak, will I be annoying and no one will like me? You know, and that's like so not yoga, but it's like we're all human beings. And then I was like, let's do this, step out my own way. And then realizing as you were going along that it was a 6-week course, I didn't realize how far I have come. And actually my business is actually more, you know, it's something that, you know, oh God, I didn't realize that I am a businesswoman. I was thinking, oh, who am I? I need some help. And I was realizing most of these people have just started. And I was thinking that I was the shit one. You know what I mean? You go, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm not so shit. And that this is the thing. And so we're all there. And it's like you guys in your group thinking, well, maybe I'm the shit one. There is no such thing as being a shit one, you know? But as human beings, we all go, oh, you know, and who am I to be confident? Well, yeah, you want to be, this is the tantric stuff, we want to be empowered.
I've been doing a lot of reading, it's like about conditioning, you know, like family conditioning, like, you know, have that nature, just getting the confidence and realising who you are as a person, like you say, if you're not feeling that, like you're not good enough, you aren't good enough, as you used to say, you're not, and just looking at life from a different angle.
Yeah, well, this is
more positive.
This is what we're doing with the in the 100 hours. That it's, you know, so it's the advanced stuff, which you're not advanced as in putting your leg behind your head. It's we're doing that. You know, I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the allegory of a cave. It's so this is all about your subconscious. So it's about your sankalpas, your vikalpas. So these are, we all, like, you know, when you're doing your yoga nidra, you think of a sankalpa, positive affirmation. But actually, we have vikalpas that are stronger than a sankalpa, and a vikalpa is a belief that we hold that perhaps we maybe needed to protect ourselves when we're growing up, but it's a belief that, is it actually true? And it's holding you back from creating, you know, my thing was, I'm not very powerful, men control me. That was, this was years ago when I trained with Rod Stryker. And I discovered my vikalpa, and you can't perform, you know, this law of attraction. You can't put stuff out there going, oh yeah, and like putting out sankalpas when you've got a vikalpa that you're not aware of. You need to clear your shadow shit, you know, and this is the thing. And the allegory of a cave, so the good thing as well is that part of the sutras, it's you're cultivating the opposite. So if you think something negative, like what is the opposite of that? How do I cultivate the opposite of that? So that is part of the sutras, and that's where we're going to. But allegory of a cave is these people living. It's a story, and it's these people living in a cave, and they see all these like shadows, and they think, oh, there's this out there, there's this out there, and one person goes actually out, and they're like, can't go out there. There's all this happening. It looks really dangerous. So somebody goes away and actually sees it for what it is and comes back to say, wait a minute, all these things that you think that it's actually just it's nothing to be scared of. And they're like, oh, so that he's kind of ostracized from the group because what they're seeing is their reality of the situation. It's a really interesting concept. So look up allegory of a cave, and that's a really good one to help you with when you're in imposter syndrome, or you're thinking, oh, what, you know, and you're doubting yourself. It's almost like it's you're in control of cultivating the opposite and being empowered in a way, in the sense that sometimes we get carried away, and it is, in a sense, we're all brought up to be like self-deprecating. Why? You know, like, why can't we just go, hey, I'm not that bad, you know?
It's hard to do.
Yeah,
It's really
and that's
hard.
not your ego. Being okay with who you are is not being big-headed or being egotistical. You're all absolutely amazing women.
End of.
Yeah. You know what? And you don't need to be there, be in a destination, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. We're exactly where we should be. And you know far more than you give yourself credit for. Yeah, and that's the joy of it. You're all ready, but it's you've not given yourself that space to be ready in your own head. So yeah, so don't worry so much about this destination, because we'll never reach it. But, you know, yeah. Eckhart Tolle, yeah.
I do like him. I like what he says, but he's slow. When I listen to him, like I listen to like a couple of different, but I just find him he's slow. And I don't know if it's
the deliberate. It's almost like he's getting downloads though.
No, that's exactly what he sounds like to me.
Yeah.
He's so just in the moment, waiting for it to
Yeah.
out the mind.
So he makes sure when he
So,
says something, it's
true.
Yeah.
So
That's how I was thinking. See, when I'm watching, there's this, like, you know, like you're saying triggers and things like that. I always like because I do follow him, and every time I get like that thing, you know, he's got something, and I do try and I listen to it, and then he's like, stop, you know, like I say, it is maybe down what's coming through, but I think why is it specifically with him that I can't relax into listening to you when I could do with so many.
well, it's a different vibe. Don't watch him. Like, it's not your vibe. So yeah. Because I find some, you know, you get some things that I really dislike EastEnders because they're always moaning. You know, like some people love it. Yeah. That's the thing. Your vibe thing is different. You'll get people that resonate and people that don't. You know, it's like it's not for you.
What I was actually wondering was, like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, when I was learning and I first started working, I got right into like listening through all the material and things like that again. And then it was like I couldn't listen any longer. And it was like I took it on board to be like, you've listened to enough, now you have to apply it more. You know, because although I was applying more in my daily life, I was cautious that I'm listening to a lot as well. So if I'm listening, I'm not applying. So just to sort
allowing
of
it to
back,
allow it to marinate, you know, and it's like you don't need to know it all now. You know, I'm still learning. I'll always be a student, always, and like that's important to know that you don't. People that think they're spiritually superior means they're not. Yeah, I don't proclaim to know. Know stuff, but I'm not. You know, it's very much. It's just being okay with where you're at. You've got it. Okay, so having imposter syndrome's really normal, and this is why I'm going to be doing this yoga teacher mentorship. We're going to do some stuff where a little bit of like the EFT and mindset things, and finding that the stuff where you're finding subconscious stuff that we're going to release some of that stuff. So that's what I'm going to be doing with my guys. But you know, I have to not look too much far to the destination and get there. You know, like with you guys becoming yoga teachers, I get excited and go, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, but you need to set these foundations up. So that's where we're at. So has anyone else got anything that they want to ask or say? Or Well, do you know what? I just think it's so lovely on a sunny Saturday morning. You've taken time out to be here and be here for each other as well. I think that's important. The just being here, turning up and being part of this energy, being part of this group. It's like making yourself accountable in a sense that you've got this. You're all here, and we'll catch up again. You know, in a wee while and see where you're at. You know, I've still run my wee classes and that, and you know you've got me. Okay. But if you come away today and go, oh God, I wish I'd said that, or I wish I'd asked that, just I pop it in the group so that everyone can see it. Or if it's personal, you know, speak to me personally. But yeah, so I don't want to practice Astea. I don't want to steal your time here. So because that's it going for up to about an hour there. So I'm going to set you free into the wilderness and let you go and have a lovely weekend. So yeah. So
Nice to see everyone.
okay.
Nice to see you all. Louisa, do you mind posting the table again?
Yeah, I'll do that. When we come offline, once so Kaya and I are going to be catching
In your
up
own
and stuff.
time.
Yeah, I'll do it today. Don't worry, I'll do it today. I'll get Kaya to remind me. Won't I, Kaya? Well, look your crystals.
It goes from that crystal
Oh, just getting into crystals and everything now.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm quite interested in crystals.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay then, guys. Lots of love. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.